Welcome to Buzz in the Tower, a podcast dedicated to the movies of the 1980s and 90s. Max, it's October. You know what that means?
You're going to scare me. For an entire month, you're going to spook me out.
You know what movie we're doing today?
Scream. That's a terrible scream. Ah!
There you go. Thanks, Max. If this is your first time to the show, you might be asking yourself, why are the corners of your mouth red? What did you get into this morning?
I had fruit punch.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Why are you drinking fruit punch?
I use the Crystal Light Zero Sugar stuff. It helps me drink more water.
Okay.
It's still water, right?
Yeah,
when you squirt stuff.
You're fine.
Is it okay?
Yeah, you're good. You look great.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man.
I Burt Kreischer'd myself.
You did.
KoolAid.
Big old thing of KoolAid. If this is your first time to the show, please feel free to follow, subscribe, leave a review.
Yeah.
We got some wonderful messages on our YouTube channel the other day about your Nuke the Whale shirt. So shout out to that.
Gotta nuke something.
Sure do. Speaking of YouTube, you can check out our YouTube channel. We're on all the standard stuff, right? Apple Podcast, Spotify, all that jazz. No, not OnlyFans. No, we're not on that. Unless you are, and I don't know about it. I don't want to know about it. YouTube.com/@BuzzInTheTower.
I think I pay for this podcast.
If you go to our YouTube channel, you can see the stained corners of Max's face from his KoolAid adventure this morning.
Is it gone?
Yeah, sure. Please don't lick your hand like a cat. What world do you exist in where you think that putting your big old tongue out there and just licking that
What
hand?
am I supposed to do?
Because that same hand is going to touch everything in this room now.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Just my laptop.
What is wrong with you? And you get mad at me for saying that you're like Clifford.
I didn't get mad. I got upset.
All right.
I wasn't like, this is wrong. I was like, this is mean.
Unbelievable.
There's a difference.
You're the Washington football team to my Michigan football team. Max.
Well, they won.
I know. And you seem to win. I don't understand it.
For 5 minutes, it seemed like we had a quarterback, and then we didn't.
Yeah. Dude, I can't even talk about Michigan football right now.
Yeah, it's stinky.
It's the negligence involved with not having a quarterback with that defense and that roster.
Yeah, it's pretty bummer. We got the number one tight end in the country, too.
Hey, let's just hold on to that natty for 20 years.
At least we didn't do the Vanderbilt thing.
Yeah. Oh, God, Vandy and Bama. Are they still carrying that goalpost?
3 miles to through Broadway in Nashville. Yeah, good for them. You know they're selling pieces of the goalpost for $888
I believe
each.
it.
Yeah.
If you were a Vandy grad, you'd buy that like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did I talk about? To YouTube, I talked about subscribing, leaving reviews. Patreon.com/BuzzInTheTower. We can support the show. Our sponsor is 80stees.com. They are the purveyor of the best t-shirts about movies and music from the 80s and 90s. If you're looking for a cool Halloween t-shirt, that's the place to go. Max, what am I forgetting? Website, BuzzInTheTower.com. You can buy our own swag, our own gear. Today we're doing the movie Scream, not Scream 2, not Scream 3.
Well, that'd be weird.
Not Scream 4, but the OG.
How many others? There's 6? Is that right?
What was the last one? It was called like Scream 22 or something?
No, it wasn't.
Didn't have some like weird name.
Scream like IV or something like that, or like Scream More or No More Screaming.
Keep guessing. This is good.
Scream Along a Ding Dong. Screamocalypse.
The
Screaming.
Scream Cheese. Scream. Can I? This is the problem with our podcast. In my head, I'm like going through the files, and I'm like, what is the dumbest thing you can say right now? And I thought about it. I paused. I'm like, what is literally the dumbest thing you could say? And sure enough, Coster, it was Scream Cheese, and Max took a big bite of that Scream Cheese, that nice mutton lettuce tomato sandwich.
If you said a bagel and Scream Cheese, I would have lost it. You would have had me the whole show. I'd like a bagel and Scream Cheese, please.
Does it ever blow your mind that we have like collectively in the 4 years of the show, which by the way, our 4-year anniversary is coming up in December.
Yeah.
Does it blow your mind that we have close to 1 million people have listened to this podcast?
It's pretty crazy.
And when I say things like Scream Cheese and you fall apart in front of me, I'm just like, what is going on in the world?
That's the best part of the show.
Every week you say that's the best part of the show and you identify something different.
Yeah.
What is not the best part of the show?
When we actually talk about the movies. Anyone can go to IMDb and look up stuff. Scream came out in 1996.
Great. Thanks for giving away. Talk about devalue the brand. Great work.
$171 million at the box office.
I don't know what the baklava office is, but the box office I'm very familiar with.
I'd like
Are you
to
ready?
get the baklava.
Gotta get some cream cheese on my baklava office. Shut it down, Coster. Shut it down. Max is done. He's had enough. What was the episode where we finished and Coster was like, "That's the most I've ever laughed at any of your episodes." I was like, "That's the worst episode we've ever done."
Was it
like, no.
was it the wheezy one where I got all wheezy?
No, that was my personal favorite.
Okay.
When he almost choked on the water, that was the best. That was the funniest 3 minutes of my life.
I think it was a movie that was a C-list movie, from what I remember correctly.
I think so,
it was,
too,
We
yeah.
were kind of just winging it because we ran out of time. And
Yeah.
it was hilarious. It was
The
awesome.
funniest thing ever was when you were choking to death.
That
I was
was-
just sitting
yeah.
here and you're like,
Top moment, for sure.
your weakened lungs
Yeah.
couldn't handle a cough. You
Yeah.
were dying. Yeah, it was all coming to an end. And you created all the B-roll stuff on him dying. We had all the video of it. It was great.
It was
Play
enjoyable.
that at your
Let's put
funeral.
that on TikTok.
Let's put you on TikTok. What do you think about that?
I tried and you don't like me on TikTok.
Speaking of, I know you did one time. It was terrible. Speaking of TikTok, we have some information about the movie Scream that is like built for TikTok. I'm excited for a few clips. All right, Max, let's talk about Scream. So
first of
this
all,
is the first time you've ever seen this movie.
I want to say thank you actually
It's
because
really good.
I would never see this. I was always freaked out. You know what I mean? Like I heard there was guts. I heard it was pretty violent. It is an homage to movies.
Yeah.
It's really like it's 90s and the most like I can smell the blockbuster.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's delightful. Like even the outfit that he's wearing, the Ghostface one,
Yeah.
it looks like he bought it at a dollar store. You know what I mean? Like
he did.
yeah, you can almost see like his eyes and all that kind of, and also like the way he kills people.
Right.
It's Charlie Chaplin-esque. Like
Yeah.
he's falling over himself. He's not very intimidating.
Yeah.
And like the plot doesn't really make that much sense, but it doesn't need to.
Oh, I think the plot's well put together. I disagree with that.
I mean that like he's like, we really don't have any motive. Well, actually,
it totally unfolds. They have a complete motive.
yeah.
His buddy, I mean, you have to go into the future.
My mom and dad are gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Delightful though. I just want to say thank
great.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Scream. So I mean, this is 96.
Yeah.
This is my sweet spot.
Were you taking girls to this movie so they
Wow.
get scared?
Yeah,
and
I was
cling to
18,
you?
18 years old.
Yeah.
You know, wearing my leather jacket, getting ready for college,
Yeah.
not realizing I'd peaked. Like it was a great time for
You
me.
knew it.
I did know. I was like, you better enjoy these moments. This is as good as it's going to get for you, my friend.
This is the top of the mountain.
But it was a hell of a ride.
Yeah. Dude, what girl did you take to see this in theaters?
I don't remember. I probably
Say her
took,
name.
I'm not saying her name. I probably took my girlfriend. I had the same girlfriend for like
Christy Swanson.
3 years. Christy Swanson.
Yeah.
No, Elizabeth Shue. It was an on again, off again thing. A lot of restraining orders, but she enjoyed going. So I'll tell you two kind of, I guess, tangential stories
Sure.
to this.
Like your relationship with this movie.
Yeah,
right?
like one has nothing to do with the movie, but it just reminds me of the peaking. So my middle son, Aaron, his soccer practice was at my old high school last night.
So were you like the Uncle Rico?
A little bit.
Yeah.
So I drove him to soccer practice. His head coach is also the head coach of my old high school soccer team. Even though my kids won't go to my old high school, they're in private school, but like they play travel soccer. I know.
right.
And they stepped on the ball. So I drive them. It's a 7:00 practice. They're on Maple Field. That's where I used to play football. That's where I used to coach football.
Did you grab some dirt?
There's no dirt because it's artificial
Did you
turf.
grab some grass?
I did.
Yeah.
And I walk down on the field and all the kids are getting ready and it's under the lights. So I'm sitting in the stands. And before I go up there, I'm like, Aaron. And he goes, I know, Dad, this is the same field that you played football at 200 years ago. And the dismissive, awful way, it's like how I treat you is how my kids treat me. It was a reminder that I did peak at 18. So that's exciting. 16 to 18 were great years for me. The second story I'll tell you that you'll appreciate is, of all of my friends, who is the one who's got the Clark Kent syndrome? Meaning, like, to the average person, they seem like they're an upstanding citizen, but behind closed doors, they've got the S under their shirt and they're a raving lunatic.
Papas.
Yes. Great work.
No, Guy.
Guy.
Yeah.
So Guy was my roommate my freshman year in college. When this movie came out, it was, I should clarify, like, it's not the scariest movie ever,
It's not very scary.
but the jump scares are scary.
Yeah.
Like, the moments are scary. And that mask, like, when someone is wearing that mask,
yeah.
it's a little scary. There's
It's-
an element to it.
So
Because it's not supernatural. There's nothing supernatural about the movie.
No, the ghost looks like it's in pain. It's strange. It's like a very odd looking mask.
So Guy got a hold of that mask.
Okay.
I'm sitting in our...
Got a hold. It's the most popular mask of all time.
Yeah. I'm not saying that he, like, robbed the bank.
Well,
I'm
you
just-
said got a hold of like it was difficult.
That doesn't imply that it's difficult. It means he literally got a hold of one.
Okay.
Would you be happier if I said he purchased one?
Yes.
Okay. Back that up. Guy purchased. Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn. Guy got a hold of the mask.
You said the same thing.
I'm sitting. I know because I don't care to cater.
We
to your
reversed it and everything.
I'm sitting on our futon, right? So you walk into our dorm room and it's like futon and then it's bunk beds.
Yep.
I'm sitting on the futon watching TV.
It's my dorm too.
I don't hear the key open the door. The door swings open and Guy runs into my room wearing a trench coat and that mask.
And nothing underneath.
And scares the ever-loving crap out of me.
Yeah.
Like just terrifies me. Thinks it's the funniest thing ever. He then, because of how poorly I reacted to this, goes on a month-and-a-half process of constantly using. So we had a computer. It was his computer. A couple days later, I go to the computer, I turn it on, and the screensaver pops up, and it's an outline of the mask, and it says, "What's your favorite scary movie, Mo?" in like red blood, like type font. I would wake up. I have a teddy bear. I'm not ashamed to say that at all.
In college?
Yeah. I woke up one morning and I used to sleep with like my arm hooked around my teddy bear, and the Scream mask was on my teddy bear.
Yeah, that's deserved.
Yeah. Let me get to the most terrifying thing that he decided to do.
I
One
went
night,
to take a pee and
no.
right on my
Everything for you is very sexual. You always bring things back to genitalia, sexuality. You're a weird dude.
It's not sexual. It's
just you always pee. You know, a funny story.
Fluids are funny.
Do you know I told you my oldest daughter listens to our podcast?
Yeah. She's
like, why does Max have such an issue with peeing? And I'm like, out of the blue. And I'm like, oh, that's right. We talked about how you pee all the time.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is dragging on longer than it was meant to, but
it's called Paul Giamatti and Billions.
As is always the case, Max, you just can't let me get through a story without derailing it with something.
Look at the punchline.
I woke up
Yep.
in the middle of the night. It's got to be 11 o'clock. I used to go to bed early. So did Guy.
You have a teddy bear and you go to bed early. What kind of lame old college kid are you?
I peaked at 18.
I guess.
I told you.
Jesus.
I look up and Guy is pulling the mattress up. So like it's just that like metal cage that holds the mattress, and he's wearing the mask and just staring at me. And I'm like, haha, real funny, dude. Like, take the mask off. We're going to bed. Doesn't say a word. Just sits there.
It's the Rose
staring at
McGowan
me.
swing.
Yeah. He did that for 4 hours. 4 hours. So I'd like shut my eyes, be like, okay, whatever. And then I would assume maybe 15 minutes had passed. I'd open my eyes, just sitting right there.
I would end the friendship right there.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
I mean, it was scary. That's my Scream story.
Yeah.
I should probably give a synopsis of this movie. Max, Wes Craven reinvented and revitalized the slasher horror genre with
what a great name.
Modern classic, which manages to be funny, clever, and scary as a fright-masked knife maniac stalks high school students in middle-class suburbia.
I'd say upper middle class.
That's, again, great ad there. Yeah. Craven is happy to provide both tension and self-parody as the body count mounts, but the victims aren't always the ones that you'd expect.
Yeah, I mean, the Drew Barrymore thing was a huge deal because she was on the front of the poster.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be the star.
What's the other movie we always joke about? Executive Decision.
Oh, yeah.
Where
Seagal dies.
Was it Seagal or was it Kurt Russell that dies right away?
No, Kurt Russell saves.
I don't even remember. I haven't seen it in 1,000 years.
Yeah, no, Kurt Russell dies right away. That's what it is. Yeah. Seagal is has to take over.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, it's a brilliant move. So the movie Psycho, have you ever seen it or no?
No.
So that's a really important one, too, because Tippi Hedren was supposed to be the star of the movie, and she dies halfway through.
Right.
And everyone was shocked. So the fact that Drew Barrymore only has 12 minutes, and it's the most memorable 12 minutes.
Right.
It's such a fun scene, like that she's like kind of flirting with him. She has the Michelle Pfeiffer wig from Scarface, by the way. That's what they based her hair on.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
So it's
a terrible haircut.
She was originally cast as Sydney,
yeah.
And she went to Wes Craven and was like, "Trust me on this. Like, this is way better. You're gonna want me to do this." And at first, Wes Craven declined doing this movie 2 or 3 times.
Yep. They offered it to everyone: Sam Raimi, George A. Romero, Robert Rodriguez, like everybody.
Yeah. Well, there were 2 reasons that he decided to eventually do this. And one,
didn't a kid make fun of him?
Yeah. So one was Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
The fact that Drew Barrymore had signed on this, because you got to remember too, like Drew Barrymore, Firestarter, E.T.
Yeah.
I mean, she was already America's sweetheart, but like the idea to get her in this, she hadn't gone through the Adam Sandler resurgence of her career yet.
No.
Like she was kind of in that.
She was still the wild child. Like everyone knew her at this point as the girl that freaked out David Letterman.
Right.
Which is unheard of. Did you see that interview?
I have, where she like
her and
flashes them.
Her and Crispin Glover are the two people that freaked him out.
Oh, Crispin, sweet Crispin. So your other example's right. The other reason he did it is he bumped into an 11-year-old who told him that The Hills Had Eyes was his favorite movie, but that he thought that Craven had gone soft in recent years because Craven was about to be done.
Can you imagine if you're that kid, actually?
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for that. What 11-year-old has seen The Hills will have eyes? But that's whatever. That's
that kid's not doing well.
No, he's not. That's something like you.
It's like
right?
Noah Hathaway.
So anyways, Drew Barrymore went to Craven and said, I have the actual quote, in horror, my biggest pet peeve was that I always knew the main character was going to be slugging through until the end. What I wanted to do is take the comfort zone away so we would establish that the rules don't apply in this film. It's actually brilliant.
Yeah.
It's a really fair point, right?
Because it weirds you out that the rules do apply the rest of the time, the Jamie Kennedy ones.
This is, to me, I'm going to totally go far right field, but you're going to agree. Is this not why Game of Thrones was so amazing? Because you didn't know ever who was going to die. They were willing, like the minute Ned Stark was killed, I was like,
all right,
I was like, all bets are off. Like, who are they going to do next? You know?
Until the last 2 seasons, they blew it. They blew it.
I know, Max. I know how you feel about it. This movie. So I've got a lot of cool facts, and then we can talk about characters. But before we go into any of that, I want to talk about something you said at the beginning. There is a feel to this movie. I couldn't be happier about the ability to do this. This was what I had hoped John Hughes, if he had lived, would have been able to do.
Yeah.
Could John Hughes have taken The Breakfast Club, but grown and given me a 90s Breakfast Club, a 2000 Breakfast Club? And Wes Craven took Nightmare on Elm Street, the feel, the eeriness, and he 90-tized it, right? So, in a great way, where, to your point, where you feel you can smell the inside of the blockbuster.
So Kevin Williamson, who's the writer of this movie, he also created and wrote Dawson's Creek. So
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
See, then that makes so much sense.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like he also did I Know What You Did Last Summer. Mm-hmm. He'd been very into the slasher movies.
I knew that. I just didn't know the Dawson's Creek thing, but that makes total sense, right?
Yeah, because you actually like care about these characters, their weird relationships.
90210, Dawson's Creek, all these like Party of Five, all these types of movies, and like excellent point. So to your point, it fits. It doesn't feel out of place. It doesn't feel weird. Like you feel like this is a matched genre of what you're used to seeing in the 90s, but it's a slasher flick. About the writer, there's a huge bidding war on this script. And I think it went for $400,000. It did. So
yeah, Oliver Stone almost bought it.
Yep. Paramount, Universal, Morgan Creek, Oliver Stone's, Synergy Pictures, and the Weinstein's Dimension Films all put bids on it. He went for less money because he knew that Dimension would actually make the movie. Because a lot of movies will get bought and buried. And he didn't want that to be the case with his. So he actually took less money so that he could make sure that it was getting made. He was inspired by this. Did you read the thing about like why he even wrote this?
He was listening to the Halloween soundtrack the entire time, right?
I haven't heard that part of it.
Yeah.
The part I did hear is he was watching a documentary on the serial killer Danny Harold Rawling. I don't know if you know who that is. Rawling killed 5 students after sneaking into their apartments. Later that same night after he watched it, he found an open window in his house, and he was certain he had shut it before. So he spent the rest of the night searching the house, terrified, with a knife in his hand, talking to his friend on the phone. He wrote the first draft of the script and the treatment for 2 sequels over the next 3 days.
That's cool.
So he got like totally freaked out because he thought someone was in his house, and he wrote this.
There is something like someone in a mask calling and torturing people in a suburban town. It's like, as someone who lived in suburbia in your teenage years, it's like to put the fear of God in you in a place where it's supposed to be safe is like one of the most terrifying things. And then it's not like supernatural or unexplainable. It's just bored teenagers that are messing with you.
So I think anyone can like this movie, but this goes back to like why John Hughes movies talk to me is because they're all taking place in this like affluent suburb of Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Like I grew up in those big houses when the parents were out of town and they threw the parties. So to me, this has like the ultimate party scene. I think it's 42 minutes long. Yeah.
It took 21 days to shoot.
All any parent wants is to build a safe enough environment so that their kids feel like they're like almost untouchable.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's no recognition of anything unsafe in their life. So you have this home, this town, these people, like by the way, the complaint about this movie, right, is the same complaint you would give about a Hughes movie. It's totally whitewashed. I don't think there's a single African-American person in the entire film.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
But just think about it. Like, I don't think there's a single Indian person. I don't think there's a single African-American person.
Hispanic.
It's anything.
Yeah.
I think it's like literally like the waspiest film ever made.
Henry Winkler is the principal. Fonz.
Hey.
You know he does the Fonz thing in the mirror?
No, I didn't
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. By the way, I love Henry Winkler.
He's
Put him in
great.
anything. He's great.
Yeah.
So you'd mentioned that one of the people that was up to direct this movie was Sam Raimi, who we obviously know from the Evil Dead movies and local guy from here.
Army of Darkness.
Yeah. So did you know about the friendly rivalry between Wes Craven and director Sam Raimi?
They're frenemies? Or?
Yeah, they're frenemies, but it's very cute. Very,
Okay.
very cute.
Demure.
Very demure. So Craven and director Sam Raimi had this friendly rivalry going through their careers. It started with Wes Craven's The Hills Have Eyes in 1977, where there's a torn picture that looks like the Jaws poster in one of the scenes. So Raimi saw this as Craven saying Jaws isn't real horror, and he kind of took it personal and thought it was kind of lame that he was knocking Jaws. So Raimi returns the favor in The Evil Dead in 1981 with a torn picture of The Hills Have Eyes.
Ah, that's funny.
Craven then comes back in Elm Street where Nancy's watching The Evil Dead but falling asleep to it because it's not scary. Raimi has Freddy's glove in the barn in Evil Dead 2 in 1987. So not to be outdone, Craven took a swipe back in Scream. Near the end of Scream, Randy is taking votes on what they should watch and how many Evil Dead, how many Halloween. Obviously, Halloween won out.
That's cool. So this movie was a sleeper hit. So it came out in December, which is rare for horror movies.
Yeah, that is a weird time to...
So they said they wanted to give people during Christmas, like the Christmas movie season, a horror option if they were like into horror.
Yeah.
So it only made $4.6 million its first week, but it got such good word of mouth. It stayed in theaters for 8 months and made $171 million.
What was the budget?
Oh, it was 14 million.
14 million.
So nothing.
That's a low budget.
Yeah.
That's not
So
a lot
they
of
caught a
money.
lot of people at kind of like a precipice. Like Courtney Cox was not in demand as a movie star, and she was great.
Yeah.
David Arquette had this weird career. You know what I mean? Like,
Do you remember when they were shooting one of the Screams in Ann Arbor?
Yeah, I hung out with
Which one was it?
Scream 4. I hung out with David Arquette.
Well, I was bartending the night that he
Yeah.
came into the bar,
Yeah.
and he was very excited to say the least.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wow, that's David Arquette.
He's literally
He likes to boogie.
he's kind of Dewey-ish, but he's also kind of ready to rumble. Basically, is
Yeah,
him.
he likes the nightlight. He likes to boogie. Unbelievable. What was you said you had a fact for me that was going to blow my mind? Blow my mind. Max's faxes.
Okay, this is stupid. It doesn't have much to do with the movie, but it still blew my mind.
What?
So
You've got a fact that's stupid and doesn't have to do with the movie?
So Matthew
Mind blown.
Matthew Lillard,
Yes.
who's like the '90s defined, he plays Stewart. My mom and dad are gonna kill me.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He's the essence of over the top. Well, you know, he took over Shaggy as Scooby Doo,
Yeah.
and he does the voice of Shaggy in all the Scooby Doo movies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who did the voice of Shaggy before that?
Casey Kasem.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's incredible.
Did you really not know that?
No,
Yeah, that's like one of the most widely known things ever.
I had no
I
idea.
can't even make it into a clip. People will be like,
Yeah.
yeah, no kidding.
Let's make it into a clip and get people angry.
Wah, wah,
Yeah.
wah.
Do it. Yeah.
You know, what I can never get out of my mind when it
What?
comes to what's the actor's name?
Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, is She's All That when he's the guy who does the dance?
Yeah.
Like he's like that his girlfriend cheated on him with on like the reality TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give it to me. Give me that.
Lillard's the man. You've seen Hackers, right?
Yeah, Max, I got your fact fell flat.
You did.
I've got some facts for you. You
Yeah.
ready? All right. You obviously know the voice of Ghostface.
Yeah.
They're using the scrambler.
movie?
So I don't know if you remember that voice or not, but that voice is by famous voice actor Roger Jackson. Does tons of video games, does movies. But where you would know him best is Mars Attacks. Remember the
No way.
That's not the voice, but
Okay.
remember the doctors, how they build a voice translation machine?
Yeah.
When they get the voice translation machine, which is speaking largely gibberish, that's his voice. And you would know him from the Mr. Mucus Mucinex commercials. You know that little
Yeah.
Mucinex thing, the original ones, and Powerpuff Girls. Did you ever watch Powerpuff Girls?
Yeah.
Mojo Jojo.
No way.
That's him. So that is
With
the
his
voice.
brain hanging out?
That is
Yeah.
the voice of Ghostface from the movie Scream. Another kind of cool thing about this guy's voice and how I'm a huge fan when directors do unique things, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not that it's easy to make a film, but I like when they take a unique angle on something.
Well, his voice was supposed to be a placeholder. He was supposed to be replaced, Roger Jackson.
Okay, so I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I know that when they used his voice,
Yeah.
they didn't dub it in after the fact. They put him in a tent
And he actually called.
And he
right?
actually like did the voice while they were talking, and they never introduced him to the cast because they wanted the cast to like not know who the voice was coming from, which I
That's
thought was
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Did voice enhancers work back then in 96?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Frampton. Do you feel? Don't you feel? That's the worst.
Yeah. There's also a
Let's play Speak and Spell.
So I thought it was interesting. The killer's costume, everyone calls it Ghostface.
Yeah.
It's not actually, it was called Father Death, is what the
Dark Overlord.
Ghostface is way better.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. There's a million little choices that make this movie iconic. Like,
Do you know what they originally were going to name the movie?
Well, no.
Scary Movie, which is funny because all of the Wayans Brothers parody movies are called Scary Movie.
It would have worked actually.
Yeah. It was good old Harvey Weinstein.
No, it was Bob Weinstein.
Oh, was it Bob?
It's his brother. So yeah.
Dear God.
The other little decision I thought was cool. They were gonna make Ghostface white. Like the whole thing was white, but
then they realized they had no minorities in the film, so
he looks like a KKK member. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So it's amazing how like little things can make such a big difference.
Yeah. Just the tiniest little things.
So the mask is based on a few things, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
The painting Scream by Edvard Munch.
Yeah.
The characters on the cover of the Pink Floyd album on the wall. And the ghostly character appeared in the 1930s Betty Boop 1930 cartoon. So many people auditioned for this movie. So,
right? I saw a lot of those.
So the coolest one is that they offered the role of Sydney to Molly Ringwald. That would have been...
I don't know.
I would have loved it.
How old was she when this came out?
Way too old.
Yeah, way too old.
28 or something. But Neve Campbell's perfect.
Alicia Witt, Brittany Murphy, Neve Campbell were the final three. But before that, this is the larger list. Brittany Murphy, Melissa Joan Hart, Tori Spelling, Reese Witherspoon.
So many.
Molly Ringwald. She
Yeah.
was 27 at the time. That was way too old for this movie.
Leonardo DiCaprio auditioned for Billy. He would have crushed it.
Oh, Billy.
But the fact that Skeet Ulrich looks like Johnny Depp is like a perfect... He looks exactly like 1984 Nightmare on Elm Street.
Johnny
Doesn't he?
Depp.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he's very of this time.
And he's got that like
Angular kind of...
like deadness behind his eye type deal. Yeah, no, I totally agree. It was cast... I mean, look, it was cast well. It's interesting, right? Because the
Sabretooth's in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Liev Schreiber is the murderer framer.
The banner carrier of a successful movie is the sustainability of the quotes. And like now, here we are in 2024. How many times do you hear people say, "What's your favorite scary movie?"
Yeah.
Like it's just Wes Craven, man.
Or the banter they have about like the rules, and he's like, don't say I'll be right back. It's like, hey, you want another beer? Yeah, sure. I'll be right back.
Well, the whole virgin thing. I've
never been happier to be a virgin.
The meta of this, like, it's done so well.
Oh, not in my movies.
Right. And this is what Wes Craven tried to do with the Final Nightmare or whatever, A New Nightmare. Is that what it was called?
With the little kid that had the dreams and all?
No, that's the Dream Warrior. Warrior. I'm talking about the one where it was meta, where it was like Wes Craven was in it.
Oh, yeah. It was like they were filming the movie.
Yeah. It just didn't stick.
No.
It was okay.
This sticks.
Yeah, this works really well. I mean, obviously, they made 100
because they don't
sequels.
know they're in a movie, but they're like acting like they are in a movie.
Even things like when they're talking about who's going to play you in the movie, like, I see you as a young Meg Ryan, and then she's like, with my luck, I'd get Tori Spelling.
Yeah.
The fact that they're making these real moment jokes, everybody knows who Tori Spelling is, 90210. And like, there's like almost like which by the way, she auditioned for that role. So I feel like that's kind of a little bit of kick in the butt.
Yeah. I mean, it's more the Aaron Spelling nepotism thing. I think that's funny about that, right? Because she was on 90210 because her dad is famous. She's great in the scary movies.
Yeah, she really is. The scary movies are really good, by the way.
Oh, they're incredible. And now that
might be one of my favorite parody franchises.
So I've seen them all.
Yeah.
And now
they make more sense to you. Oh my God, you've never seen any of these. Yeah, that's funny.
Like the sex pressure scene, I totally understand now.
There's little things like there was a VHS of Clerks on top of one of the TVs.
Oh, really?
I'm sure there's some
this has some
reason
Clerks to
reference.
It.
Yeah. So you talk about the 3 rules. Rule number 1, never have sex. Rule number 2, never drink or do drugs. Rule number 3, never, ever, ever under any circumstances. I'm starting to talk like you say, I'll be right back. The story's great. The fact that so now rewatching it, spoiler alert, right? There's multiple killers.
Yep.
And that's not something that you often see. I'm trying to think back, like how many times have you seen a horror film, like a classic horror film where there's multiple bad guys?
No. The only thing
Hellraiser.
The only thing I can kind of reference is the Prestige, that they were twins. You know what I mean? Like,
right, yeah.
It was
So,
unexpected.
but that's to my point.
Yeah.
Like, this movie does it because like when you watch a good horror film,
Yeah.
but it's also a horror mystery film. Like you know who Freddy Krueger is, right? Like you know who Jason Voorhees is. That was another.
Yeah, this is a detective whodunit too. And the cool thing, by the way, in the beginning, when he's asking the questions to Drew Barrymore,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Am I at the front door or the back door?" You realize they're both there.
Yeah.
So that she wasn't going to get the right answer regardless.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and after the fact, you realize it. Another kind of cool thing is Drew Barrymore really trusted Wes Craven, right? So like for actresses to get and actors to get to that place, there's like this mental game of chess you have to play. So she had shared with Wes Craven that she had read this article in the paper about this family that like set fire to their dog.
Oh
and
my
it just
God.
like, by the way, obviously I get emotionally destroyed hearing about that. So before they would like, before he'd be like action and they'd start doing the scene, he'd like lean in and be like, "I'm lighting the match." It's so terrifying.
Yeah, it's awful.
It worked. It got him.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do? All right. Well, let's talk about favorite scenes.
The first scene is untouchable.
It's really good.
It's 12 minutes and it's perfect. Like there's enough flirtation. There's the funny innocence in it. She has the Jiffy Pop on the, on the popper.
They set the stage for how gory it's going to be. Like they really, she gets chopped up.
Yeah, and it takes its time. Like you see the boy, her talking about her boyfriend. You think she's lying,
Yeah.
And he's like, no, he's like 6'2", 220, and he's right outside. And you see him outside. They build to such a crescendo.
He gets gutted.
Yeah,
He's just guts laying out
and
everywhere.
like worst nightmare too. That like the parents come home like just 30 seconds too late.
Yeah,
and that they have to hear their daughter dying
on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They nail it. It's just
good. She does really good.
I mean, the party scene is half the movie.
Yeah,
but it's incredible.
I think. God, I don't even know. I think I probably have to agree with you on my favorite scene being that. Look, this is so dumb. I love the flirtation between Dewey and Gail. Like the entire
when they fall on each other.
Yeah, just like everything about it, like her laying it on thick and him being like, "I am the deputy."
Is this where they started dating? Because they were married.
Yeah, I think so. Also, can I just say that I can't remember the actress from Saturday Night Live, but in the Scary Movie film, the parody, that one woman, it's not Sherry O'Tip, but one of them plays the Gail.
Yeah.
And Dewey is actually like a special needs person in that movie, and she still seduces him. I find that to be so funny, and it's probably grossly inappropriate. Like it's not funny today, but I can't help myself.
Officer Dewey. Yeah,
we'll keep that in there. That's good for you.
Yeah.
God, yeah. I'm trying to think what else. Everything having to do with even
when they're stabbing each other in front of her.
Yes, Henry Winkler. They purposefully for a moment want you to think that he's the killer, right? Remember when he takes the scissors and he's like, "You two kid," and you're like, "Well, it's Henry Winkler."
Yeah, and he puts on the mask and all. Yeah.
Good.
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. Do you want to jump into characters?
Yeah, let's do it.
Jump into characters. I'm sure you have lots and lots of stuff on.
Oh, by the way, there's a special cameo in this movie. Linda Blair's in this movie.
No.
So she's the Auburn reporter who says people want to know. They have a right to know. She was a star of The Exorcist.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. I know I've mentioned this before on other podcasts that we've done, but in the...
You used to play football in high school?
Kenny, who is the camera guy who gets slashed and killed,
Yep.
but works with our friend Gail.
How does he end up on top of the van?
I don't know. He doesn't do well for himself, but Kenny is played by W. Earl Brown. He's in a bunch of movies. He's in Tulsa King. You would probably recognize him in a lot of places. One that you may have forgotten, though, is that he is... Where's My Baseball Warren from There's Something About Mary.
God.
So I had to remind you that he had that special role as well. All right, actors and actresses, hit me, Max.
Well, Wes Craven.
He's done some work.
Yeah, he had 4 wives. I'm always fascinated. Everyone in Hollywood seems to get divorced a ton.
I get it.
Yeah. My favorite fact about him, this is incredible. He was going to direct Superman 4 Quest for Peace, but had differences with Christopher Reeves. It's like, I bet he freaking did. Like, he was probably like, what if Superman ripped off people's heads and threw them at people?
That's probably not what he said.
Yeah. Last House on the Left, Hills Have Eyes, Swamp Thing, Nightmare on Elm Street series, Shocker, and Vampire in Brooklyn. I always forget he did Vampire in Brooklyn.
Also, you know what we're going to add to our, you would ask me what episodes we're going to do or whatever. There's a series called Fred coming out on Max middle of October. So I think we're going to watch that and do that as well.
Cool.
Continue.
Writer Kevin Williamson, like I said, he created Dawson's Creek, teaching Mrs. Tingle, The Faculty, which is awesome. I Know What You Did Last Summer. This dude just had the 90s like in a chokehold.
Yeah.
You see him now. He looks like someone who wrote in the 90s too.
I don't know what that means, but I like it.
Trust me, you'll see. Maybe you won't. Nev Campbell, who played Sydney, she's great.
Party of 5, man.
Yeah, so she had a nervous breakdown at age 14, which made her bald.
Really?
And she used intense acupuncture, and it grew back. This sounds made up. She started smoking at 14. She hates horror movies, and for some reason, she's in them. Are you afraid of the dark, The Craft, Wild Things? Wild Things.
Wild Things.
Can we do Wild Things?
No. Makes me feel kind of funny, like when I used to climb the rope in gym class. Dude, Wild Things is
wild.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Hello.
When Kevin Bacon is the least controversial part of your movie, you're doing something. Yeah. Courtney Cox plays Gail Weathers. She's from Alabama. She's from like a well-to-do town in
she
the South.
looks like she's from a well-to-do town in the South.
Really interesting. She was only paid $350 for the Dancing in the Dark video.
Oh, with Bruce.
Yeah,
that
was her big thing. She was
big
offered Rachel and Friends. She dated Michael Keaton for 6 years. And she's a brown belt in karate. She worked as a video game developer in the 80s. It's kind of random. Super
random. You dug deep.
Yeah,
I like it.
Misfits of Science. She's with Kevin Peter Hall on that TV show in the 80s.
Yep.
Masters of the Universe, Cocoon the Return, H. Ventura, Friends, and Cougar Town. She's a wild career.
Oh, my God.
And she married David Arquette.
Why don't you go beat your dog? Saddlebags.
David Arquette, from one of probably the most famous acting families of all time.
Yeah, right.
Alexis, Rosanna, and Patricia.
Yeah.
Former brother-in-law of Nick Cage. Can you imagine them partying together?
Yes, absolutely.
Huge wrestling fan. By the way, I've never seen it. We should do this. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's in it.
I've seen it, and it's amazing.
Yeah, can we do it on the pod?
100%.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
That would count as an October scale.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
For sure.
Muppets from Space. He's in that. Do you remember?
100%.
Okay, Never Been Kissed. And Ready to Rumble rules.
He was great and Ready to Be Kissed. Him and
Ready to Be Kissed?
What'd I say?
You said Ready to Be Kissed. It's either Ready to Rumble or Never Been Kissed.
Yeah, Ready to Rumble Kiss. Haven't you ever seen that movie?
Rumble
Kiss. Come to Butthead.
Skeet Ulrich. I can't believe his name's Skeet. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
He studied marine biology in college. His stepfather and uncle are both NASCAR drivers, and he just did The Craft in this, basically. He's just a 90s guy.
He's basically the same person in The Craft and in this
really?
movie.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he's not like a murderer in The Craft.
Yeah.
But he's not the best dude.
Yeah.
He is under some witchcraft there.
Drew Barrymore plays Casey. Married 3 times. Godfather is Steven Spielberg. Freaked out David Letterman. Allergic to garlic, bee stings, perfume, and coffee. So don't get any of those things if you're near her. Oh, this is the coolest fact about her. Youngest host of SNL to this day. She was 7.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Jesus.
I think it's like child labor laws now. I don't think you could probably do that.
No, you still could.
Yeah. Who would you do?
I don't know.
Big Justice?
No.
Yeah. We bring the boom.
All right, come on. Continue.
Double chunk chocolate cookie. Brain rot. Yeah, she's okay.
Yeah.
She's an okay actress. Charlie's Angels, Donnie Darko, Freddie Got Fingered.
Did you ever see, I'm skipping ahead because I've lost interest in who you're talking about. Did you ever see Jawbreaker with Rose McGowan?
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's really good. I want to be careful how I phrase this because I know Rose McGowan has been through a lot.
So do you know her backstory from her childhood?
I just have at it. I wanted to.
So she ran away at 9 years old to escape the Children of God cult, which her family was in.
Oh, boy.
That's the same one that River and Jocko and Phoenix were in, by the way. Legally emancipated at 15. She was sent to drug rehab.
Do you mean Joaquin?
Yes.
Okay.
I can never say it right.
No, Joaquin is good.
Yeah.
He's a jack-o'-lantern, a Joaquin lantern.
She was sent to drug rehab at 15. She wasn't on drugs. It just people looked at her and thought she was on drugs.
Okay.
So she ran away and she was homeless for a year.
Jeez.
And she got herself emancipated.
Well, she's had a rough run with the whole Weinstein business and all that
Marilyn
stuff.
Manson too.
Yeah. So I want to be careful how I phrase this because I'm not saying like she's obviously been through quite a bit. I'm very surprised that her career fizzled because I think she's a really good actress.
Yeah.
I expected more from her, especially after Scream and Jawbreaker. I'm like, she could carry a film.
Yeah.
She absolutely could carry a film.
Well, Planet Terror, she's the lead. It's just that movie bombed.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's good. Matthew Lillard, who's like probably my favorite 90s actor. He just like exemplifies.
He's in
Have you seen SLC Punk?
What is that about?
He's just a punk kid in Salt Lake City.
St. Louis. Yeah, Salt Lake. Yes.
St. Louis. No,
not St. Louis. Salt Lake. Yes, SLC.
He's got the blue.
You
mohawk.
speak too fast sometimes, and it takes a minute for my brain to register what you're saying. But what I was going to say is, there's you know that girl who's like very full figured from the show Mad Men.
Yeah,
she's in some other show where like they rob and steal money, and I think she plays his husband. Maybe I've seen clips of it. Maybe he looks good in that too. So I need to. It's like the weakest definition ever of like a role. Do you know the girl with the boobs? Like her movie.
I do know her.
Yeah, but I can't think of it. Okay, continue. Sorry.
I mean, Matthew Lillard just rules. A hacker, she's all that. 13 Ghosts, Without a Paddle, Scooby Doo. Jamie Kennedy.
Ruby.
Jamie Kennedy's great.
What's the movie where he's the
Malibu's Most Wanted?
Yes. I knew that. I love that you knew exactly what I was thinking about. Let's do that on the show
for Halloween month because it was scary.
No, we'll do it in November.
He was in Son of the Mask, by the way, seen as the worst sequel of all times. Yeah. And he did Tremors: A Cold Day in Hell,
which wasn't the worst sequel of all time.
But he does have one of the coolest mic drops ever. He dated Jennifer Love Hewitt in the 90s. Yeah. Like, talk about a dream life.
Dude, she is
Amanda.
God, if you put Elizabeth Shue and Jennifer Love Hewitt in front of me, it would be tough.
Yeah, that's difficult. I go Jennifer Love. She was, I grew up in the 90s.
I know. I grew up in the 80s.
When she first walks into the party in Can't Hardly Wait, she's wearing the blue strap thing.
Yeah.
And her hair's all perfect.
Yeah. Oh, no. How about that movie with her and Sigourney Weaver?
Heartbreakers.
Heartbreakers.
Yeah, Ray Liotta's really good at that.
Yeah. R.I.P. I can't believe he's dead. It's a bummer.
He is.
That way to bring it down a notch, Max. All right, continue. Anybody else you want to cover?
No.
All right. Well, Max.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Good start to the spook.
Good start to Spooktoberfest, if that's a word. I will say, too, that this is also one of those movies that the fact that they keep on having sequels doesn't bother me at all.
No.
I need to get caught up, though. I'm way behind. I haven't seen the last 2 or 3 that have come out.
By the way, I looked up Skeet Ulrich's IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the 6th one. He got shot in the middle of the head.
Flashback, maybe? Or...
He's like 40 now. Like, how would they flash him back?
Know,
do you know what I mean?
Dig into it.
Like,
do a little research.
It's got to be something where like he used fake bullets or something.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows?
He's in it.
Max, on that note, why don't we see what we've got for our Buzz in the Tower fan spotlight?
Let's do it.
Max, this week's Buzz in the Tower fan spotlight is our friend Curtis Kellogg from Central Texas.
He founded the Kellogg Company.
He did.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Why do you have to lie about people? Make them sound better or worse than they are.
He's the world's sexiest shark hunter. That's his YouTube channel.
Is it?
Yeah. Just wears a thong and gets bit.
Oh, that's great. God, you're an idiot.
Covers himself.
Curtis is a big fan of the show.
Tuna blood.
He loves movies.
Tuna blood.
He would be a much better co-host than you. I'm open to it. Let's see what Curtis had to say about
Quarter blood technique.
Yeah.
You were mad, but you got to say it.
God, because you always pull things that get me excited, like Trading Places.
Yeah.
I'll never say no to Trading Places.
Yeah.
Why don't we see what Curtis had to say about the movie Screen?
Hey, what's up, fellas? You got Curtis down here in Central Texas again. Always a pleasure to be on Buzz in the Tower with my guys, Max and Mo. So today's Scream episode. My God, what a classic. I remember, I think this was like a December 96.
Yeah, nailed it.
So I would have been a senior in high school.
Same age.
Like winter break. I didn't see it at the theater, but I remember being at like a house party, and somebody opened that little blue and yellow box from Blockbuster, and I'm sure we had some like adult beverages, but yeah, we put on Scream, and I gotta tell you, outside of a theater experience, there's no better way to watch it than with a bunch of first people, in their first time viewing at somebody's house, a bunch of teenagers all being stupid, and just screaming and laughing, and it was obviously really like relatable for us because we're all seniors, and a highly enjoyable movie. It actually still holds up. I've watched it so many times, but it's actually funny. My 11-year-old nephew now, he's begging me to watch all the Scream movies.
Do it.
He wanted to start with like 3 or 4.
Parent of the year,
we're
Max
gonna
Sanders.
do it right. We're going to start at the beginning, and he's loved it too. So it's been great, like going back and watching it with him and reliving those memories. But about the movie itself, man, powerhouse, and like one of the longest running franchises. It's up there with like Fast and Furious. It's ridiculous, but it's still good. They still hold up, and they find a way to make them more fun each time. I'll wrap it up with one thing, saying thank you for introducing us to Matthew Lillard. my God, he just, I mean, you know, he chews up every scene that he's in, and he must have had a blast making this. And I bet they had to make so many shots because he probably had everybody dying laughing, you know, on set. So yeah, it was such a pleasure to watch him and get introduced to him. Yeah, and I think he probably peaked with his first movie there. Yeah, the liver. I said liver. What? You don't get it? Like liver? I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Anyway, always a pleasure being on with y'all. Keep it real. Have a great holiday, Halloween, spooky season, and enjoy those scary movies. Love you guys. Later.
So Lillard thought that he was horribly overacting. He was very self-conscious about it.
So, you know, he wasn't even auditioning for this movie. He was
hanging out with his girlfriend.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
and they saw him and they're like,
I feel like that happens a lot in Hollywood.
yeah, because if you have a look, people are like, get over here.
Leluc.
We should just go to Hollywood and just walk around. And hopefully get spotted.
Awesome job. Curtis is always great to have on the show. And it's funny because like him and I are the exact same age, or at least same graduating year from high school. And he's right. Like I remember this was like the topic, right?
Yeah.
Like this is all anyone ever talked about was this movie. It was such a huge deal.
Oh, by the way, before I forget, actually, no, I shouldn't say this on air. No.
No, go ahead.
No,
go ahead. So I can at least undress it when you're done and decide if I want to keep it.
So someone pulled up my high school yearbook. It's on like Instagram and all
When
that
you
stuff.
say someone, you mean like one of our like listeners? Or?
No, one of my friends.
Oh, one of your friends. Okay.
From high school. And there's a quote like, "There's what's in your CD player?" And mine goes, "P. Diddy, because I love my Sean Johns." And it's just me with my thumbs up.
Why did you not want that on the show? That's incredible. Can you please?
You want to see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, can you add a cut of this into the YouTube of Max supporting? Oh, that's absolutely incredible. That's absolutely incredible. I'm so excited. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna need that. Make sure Costa gets a hold of that so we can get that up on the screen.
Yep.
Max, with that being said, we've covered Scream. We've started our month of spookiness. You can actually send him that after the show as opposed to zoning out right now.
No, I'm going to right now.
Yeah.
Oh, after the show.
Keep all of this, of course. You ready? You back?
Yeah.
He's back, folks.
I thought you were gonna I wasn't gonna do it and you peer pressure me and it would be annoying.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. How you doing, Max?
Good.
Good.
Giggity.
Giggity.
All right.
My oldest Reese is dying to watch Scream. She loves horror films, but I'm not letting her watch a lot of them. Like
what is she watching?
Like Stranger Things. She loves Stranger Things.
That's not horror.
I know. She
What's the scariest thing she's seen so far?
Beetlejuice. I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're being a lame dad.
That's what I'm saying. I have this. He was talking about his 11-year-old.
The sooner
nephew.
you get them to watch the like creepy.
I know you saw Terminator 2 when you were 6. I don't need parenting advice from you.
Mine's terrible, but I'm saying like the cool kids always watch the movies first.
It's not my goal. Is not for my kids to be cool. I was
why
cool.
else would you have kids?
Cool, and it got me nowhere. Peaked at 18. Do we really need another batch of Shapiro's?
I don't know. You got 3
peaking at
kids,
18?
a cool car, you're a
That's
firefighter.
not because I'm cool.
That's by definition. That's how you get by.
I don't know. Everybody's cool compared to you.
Yeah.
I like P. Diddy. I can't believe of all the things that you were pulling the reins in on.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know if I should say this, but 26 years ago, I liked P. Diddy.
In high school when I had
Wah, 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 wah. Oh, man. What a great show. All right, Max.
it's a freak off.
A reminder, if you've got a few minutes between freak offs to just catch your breath.
Oil down.
Subscribe, rate, review. Take a look at us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any podcast player. Go to our YouTube channel where you can see the video and picture of Max in high school, which is great stuff. YouTube.com @BuzzInTheTower. Social media, our handles @BuzzInTheTower. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. We're there. We're here.
Get used to it.
Yeah. Patreon.com, BuzzInTheTower, BuzzInTheTower.com. Next week's episode, what did I say we were going to do? Buffy, maybe? Buffy? I don't know.
Okay, I have some other suggestions.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We don't need to do it right now.
Do you want to do Monster Squad? I know that's a way to your heart. Yeah. Yeah. I knew that was going to be the one.
I do like me so.
Let's do it.
I thought we did Monster Squad. We've never done Monster Squad.
Did we do it?
I need you to check. I feel like we've done Monster Squad.
We might have done it.
I feel like we have, Max. I'm going to say potentially Monster Squad, but I want to review the list myself because I think we did it.
The Wolfman's got nards.
The name is Horace. My second favorite Jack Black film. Jack Black, Jesus, Shane Black.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I was like, huh?
Yeah, sorry. Max, anything else you want to say? How do you want to end this episode?
I never thought I'd be so happy to be a virgin.
I'll end it by saying that I'm very proud of you. This is a big step for you, all these horror films you're watching now. Because I remember a couple of years ago when I first made you. It was with our buddy Caleb over at Horror Soup.
I had to watch
every single Nightmare on Elm Street
in
movie.
a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Hellraiser really shook you, but it wasn't as bad as you thought it was.
Hellraiser wasn't that bad. Hellraiser 2 was awful.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
And then I watched the remake of Hellraiser, which was also terrifying. Didn't talk about that either. Those were the ones that really got me.
Have you seen The Exorcist? I need to get you into some like real horror films.
That's 70s.
Yeah, I know. The Exorcist is like bone tingling.
Your mother sucks giblies in hell.
Good old Ghiblies. Max, I'll see you next week. Great show and be safe.